So we were talking about the general characters of Aves. In Aves we talked about the endoskeletal modifications, and later on I made a mention about even the muscles also. The flight muscles present in birds Pectoralis major, it forms 1/3 of the body weight Pectoralis major, it arises from the keel of the sternum. It extends across the body and attached to the inner surface of the humerus bone. So when the pectoralis major contracts, wings are pushed downwards and the body is pushed upwards. The wings are depressed downwards, the wings are pulled downwards, body is pushed upwards. That's why they are also called elevators. Then the second one is pectoralis minor, which is also called supracoracoides. This pectoralis minor or supracoracoides, it also arises from the keel and the keel part of this sternum here. It passes through foramen trioceum and attached to the upper surface of the humerus bone. So when it contracts, wings are pulled upwards. When the wings are pulled upwards, body is depressed downwards. That's why they are called depressor muscles. Then next you have here now tensor patagi muscles, which help in grasping the twigs. The next you have extensor muscles. Okay, extensors or flexors. They are also called extensor carpi radialis, extensor ulni radialis. They help in stretching and folding of the wings. Then you have coracobrachialis muscles. This coracobrachialis longens and coracobrachialis brevis, two kinds of muscles are there. Coracobrachialis longens, coracobrachialis brevis. They help in rotation of the wing in the glenoid cavity. All muscles in birds are called red muscles because they are deposited with myoglobin, which gets saturated with oxygen even when the oxygen concentration is low. That's why birds, due to presence of myoglobin, they never fall short of air even while flying at high altitudes. Then next we'll talk about the digestive system modifications. In the digestive system modifications, salivary glands are absent in birds. Salivary glands are absent in birds. The esophagus is dilated to form crop. Esophagus is dilated to form crop. This can be asked in MSET, other exams. So crop in birds is a modification of esophagus, and crop acts as a storage organ. Like piscivorous birds. Okay, then omnivore birds. It is well developed. Okay, graminivore, piscivore, omnivore, it is well developed. Okay, this is meant for storage of food. At the same time, under the influence of LDH under the influence of LTH or prolactin, it secretes crop milk. Crop secretes crop milk, which is used to feed the young ones. Then this crop is followed by gizzard or proventriculus. Gizzard or proventriculus. This gizzard or proventriculus acts as a grinding mill. Like other animals, even in birds, gizzard or proventriculus acts as a grinding mill. Internally, it is lined by stratified keratinized epithelium. It is made up of only circular muscles. It helps in maceration of the food along with small pebbles. Then next you have the stomach is called ventriculus. Ventriculus is a true stomach. Ventriculus is a true stomach that brings about digestion of proteins. Okay, then you should remember this important point, MSET point to other exam point of view. You may get a question, gizzard is a modification of esophagus, then crop, then stomach. So you should say it is a modification of stomach, because stomach anteriorly modifies into proventriculus or gizzard, and posteriorly it modifies into ventriculus. Then cloaca in birds, in all birds cloaca shows cup organization. In all birds cloaca shows cup organization, which are referred to as coprodium, urodium and proctodium. Coprodium, urodium and proctodium. Among reptiles, this is noticed only in lizards, whereas in birds, in all birds, you find the cup organization in the cloaca for reabsorption of water and salts from the outgoing fecal matter. This is one of the flight adaptations in birds, to conserve water. Then in the wall of the proctodium, they have got an embryonic thymus. An embryonic thymus called bursa fabrici. An embryonic thymus called bursa fabrici is present within the wall of the proctodium. It produces lymphocytes. Urinary bladder is absent in all birds except ostrich to reduce the body weight. So these are all the modifications in the digestive tract of birds. The modifications in the respiratory system of birds in birds, the voice box is called syrinx. Voice box is called syrinx. Syrinx is the voice box in all flight birds. It is absent in flightless birds except Rhea americana. The only flightless bird with the syrinx is Rhea americana. In all the other flight birds, syrinx is absent. In certain birds like Eudenemus coel and all that, Eudenemus coel, then Gracula minor, in all of them, the syrinx has well-developed vocal cord called pessulus. The well-developed vocal cord called pessulus responsible for producing melodious sounds. So larynx is reduced. In the place of larynx, they have a voice box called syrinx. In birds, lungs are solid. Okay, they are solid and they are provided with 9 air sacs. A pair of anterior thoracic, a pair of posterior thoracic, a pair of abdominal, a pair of cervical, and an interclavicular air sac. Suppose this is the trachea, syrinx, bronchi, these are the lungs, assume that they are the lungs. Now these lungs are provided with a pair of anterior thoracic air sacs, a pair of posterior thoracic air sacs, a pair of abdominal air sacs, interclavicular air sac, cervical air sacs. So it has got a pair of anterior thoracic, a pair of posterior thoracic, a pair of cervical, interclavicular, and a pair of abdominal. Like this, 9 air sacs are present altogether. Among these, only the interclavicular air sac is unpaired. All the other sacs are paired. A pair of anterior thoracic, a pair of posterior thoracic, a pair of abdominal, and a pair of cervical. Now these air sacs are avascularized. They do not have blood vessels. But however, they render the functions like number 1, they reduce the body weight by acting as hydrostatic organs. Number 2, they bring about double respiration. Number 3, they also help in regulating the body temperature. So number 1, hydrostatic organs. Number 2, bring about double respiration. Number 3, thermoregulation. Number 4, they act as hydrostatic organs. So they are the functions entrusted to air sacs. The air sacs are well developed in flight birds and reduced in flightless birds. And in the lungs alveoli are absent. The blood capillaries called parabronchi are responsible for absorption of oxygen from the inhaled air. Alveoli are absent. The minute capillaries called air capillaries, they are also called, are parabronchi. These minute air capillaries are parabronchi substitute the functions of alveoli, bring about inhalation and that is responsible for absorption of O2 from the inhaled air. So these are the modifications in the lungs of birds. And remember, dear students, now you may get a question in which of the following vertebrates lungs are without alveoli, you should answer birds. In the place of alveoli, they have got air capillaries or parabronchi, which are meant for absorption of oxygen from the inhaled air. Then apart from this, 9 air sacs, it is an added unique character for the birds, which act as hydrostatic organs, regulate body temperature, bring about double respiration, and they make the bones also pneumatic. For instance, you take interclavicular it extends into the bones and thereby makes the bones pneumatic. Then next, the blood vascular system of birds, if you take in the blood vascular system, you find the birds have 4-chambered heart here now. Birds have 4-chambered heart with a right systemic arch. With a right systemic arch. Like mammals have left systemic, whereas birds have right systemic arch here now. Sinus venosus, truncus arteriosus are absent here now. Renal portal system is reduced in birds here now. And the RBCs, like in other vertebrates, even in birds, RBCs are biconvex, nucleated and oval here now. Then excretory system, if you look into the birds now, excretory system of bird, the kidneys are trilobed and metanephric here. Kidneys are trilobed and metanephric. All of them are uricotelic here now. Urinary bladder is absent here now. Okay, uricotelic and urinary bladder is absent, and kidneys are trilobed, metanephric here now. Then the reproductive system, modifications in reproductive system you observe here now. Here they don't have copulatory organ. In flight birds now, copulatory organs are absent here now. Okay, however, in certain flight birds like ducks, geese, mountain quails and all that, copulatory organs are present. Except ducks, geese, mountain quails and all, in all other flight birds, copulatory organs are absent. However, the flightless birds are with copulatory organs. Fertilization is internal in all of them. Eggs are megalocecal and cleidoic. Eggs are megalocecal and cleidoic, and they are amniotic type here. Amniotic type. So eggs are megalocecal, cleidoic, amniotic type here now. And in birds right ovary and right oviduct are reduced. Right ovary and right oviduct are reduced. Left ovary and left oviduct are functional. Right ovary and right oviduct are reduced. Number 1, to conserve calcium content. Number 2, reduce the body weight here now. In case the left gets damaged and the right becomes functional here now. That's why they are not completely absent. They are in rudimentary form here now to reduce the body weight and conserve calcium here now. Okay, then the young ones of birds now, the young ones of flight birds, young ones of flight birds are called altricial or nidiculous. Young ones of flight birds are called, nestlings of flight birds are called altricial or nidiculous. That is, when they hatch from the eggs, they are very tiny here now. They have got sparsely developed feathers here now. They do not have well-developed mouth and eyes. They are dependent on parent birds for food and shelter. Such young ones are called altricial or nidiculous birds. Whereas young ones of flightless birds, young ones of flightless birds are called precocial or nidifugous. That is, comparatively they are hefty, well built here now, and they don't depend on parent birds here now. They run away soon after hatching. So such birds are called precocial or nidifugous. So the young ones of flightless birds are precocial or nidifugous. Young ones of flight birds are altricial or nidiculous here now. Nervous system of birds, if you observe here now, brain is covered by 2 meningeal layers, the outer dura mater, inner pia arachnoid layer. Cerebellum is well developed in birds here now. Then the olfactory lobes are reduced. The sense of olfaction is very low in birds except kiwi. Kiwi is the only flightless bird or the bird with high sense of olfaction. In all other birds olfactory lobes are well developed. But however, in all birds optic lobes are well developed. They have got very acute vision, good vision here now. And in birds optic lobes are 2 in number. Carpora bigemina is the condition, and the number of cranial nerves is only 12 pairs. 12 pairs of cranial nerves are present here now. Then in all birds, within the eyeball, a comb-like structure called pecten is present. Pecten lies within the vitreous chamber. Pecten lies within the vitreous chamber of the eyeball here now. It regulates intraocular pressure, it nourishes rods and cones, and enables the birds to sight even small creatures while flying at high altitudes. Pecten is present in all birds except kiwi. Kiwi is the only bird without pecten here. Then a few important points about feathers I'll tell you. Feathers, they form the exoskeleton in birds. The feathers, the arrangement of feathers on the body, the study of feathers is called pterology. The study of feathers is called pterology. The mode of arrangement of feathers in the form of definite tracts on the body is called pterylosis. Feathery tracts on the body called pterylosis. The feathers are arranged in definite patterns, or regular tracts on the body called pterylosis. Then eteria, the featherless tracts are called eteria. The featherless tracts are called eteria. The mode of arrangement of feathers in the form of feathery tracts is called pterylosis. The featherless tracts are called eteria, and feathery tracts are called pteryli. So repeat again here now. The feathery tracts are called pteryli. The non-feathery tracts are called eteria. The study of mode of arrangement of feathers in the form of tracts is called pterylosis. The study of feathers is called pterology. Study of feathers is called pterology. Like other exoskeletal structures seen in birds, feathers are made up of keratin here now. That's why they are shed off periodically here. On the basis of the rate of shedding, you divide them into nesoptiles, mesoptiles, and teleoptiles. The feathers present in the nestlings are called nesoptiles. The feathers present in the middle-aged birds are called mesoptiles. The feathers present in the adult birds or grown-up birds are called teleoptiles. So you have a rate of succession like nesoptiles, mesoptiles, and teleoptiles. The large feathers present on the body are called quill feathers. Quill feathers are the large feathers present on the body. Large feathers present on the body are called quill feathers. Now the quill feathers, it has a median axis. This axis has a membranous expansion. This membranous expansion is called vein or vexillum. The membranous expansion of the feather is called vein or vexillum. Now the part of the axis which is embedded within the vein is called rachis or shaft. The part of the axis which is embedded within the vein is called rachis or shaft, which is quadrangular and opaque. The rachis is quadrangular and opaque. The naked part of the rachis, which is cylindrical, is called calamus or quill. The cylindrical naked part of the rachis is called calamus or quill. Now this vein or vexillum is made up of several thin hair-like structures. These hair-like structures are arranged parallel to each other. Like several thin hair-like structures are there, traversing through the entire vein or vexillum. These thin hair-like structures are called barbs or rami. They are called barbs or rami. Those thin hair-like structures arranged traversing through the entire vein are called barbs or rami here now. Now this proximal part of the feather is considered as the calamus. This is the proximal part here now. And the distal part of the feather is considered as rachis or shaft, distal part. Now the proximal calamus or quill has got two apertures. The inner one is called inferior umbilicus and the aperture which is there at the junction of rachis and calamus is called superior umbilicus. Superior umbilicus, Through inferior umbilicus, the nutrients are supplied to the feather, but function of superior umbilicus is not known. Now, around superior umbilicus, some hair-like structures are present. These sparsely arranged hair-like structures present around the superior umbilicus are called after shaft or hyporachis. The thin hair-like structures present around the superior umbilicus are called after shaft or hyporachis. That is reduced in all flight birds. Only in emu and cassowaries, the after shaft is well developed. In all other birds now it is reduced. In all flight birds is highly rudimentary. In flightless birds, except emu and cassowaries, it is reduced. Okay, so this is the general structure of a quill feather. The big feathers present on the body can be called quill feathers. The quill feathers present on the wings are called remiges. The quill feathers present on the tail are called rectrices. The quills present on the tail are called rectrices. The quills present on the wings are called remiges. Now, the types of feathers. As I said, I made a mention earlier here now. The tail feathers are called rectrices. The feathers, quill feathers present on the wings are called remiges here now. And the contour feathers, the small feathers, the small woolly feathers, present all over the body on the back and on the ventral side are called contour feathers. And there is another type called phyloplume. Phyloplumes are present in the bird which is thoroughly plucked or dressed. That is, if all removing all contour feathers, remiges and rectrices, the sparsely arranged hair-like feathers present on the body are called phyloplumes, or we also call pin feathers. Each phyloplume has a short calamus, long rachis, and with a tuft of barbs at the tip. It has a short calamus, long rachis, with fluffy barbs and barbules. Okay, long rachis, short calamus with inferior umbilicus, and fluffy barbs and barbules are present in phyloplumes, which are also called pin feathers. Then next we have down feathers. Down feathers are also called plumules. The down feather has a short calamus. Then all the barbs are given off from the calamus directly. Rachis is entirely absent here now. All the barbs are directly given off from the calamus. It has a short calamus with inferior umbilicus. Rachis is absent. And down feathers, which are also called plumules, they do not have interlocking mechanism. Interlocking mechanism is noticed in all quill feathers, that is formed due to presence of proximal and distal barbules. The barbs, which are parallelly arranged, they are provided with perpendicularly arranged proximal barbules and distal barbules. The proximal barbules have hook-like projections called barbicels or hamuli, and the distal barbules have sheet-like projections called flange, and the proximal barbules, the barbicels or hamuli or proximal barbules get interlocked in the flange of distal barbules, and thereby they form an interlocking mechanism. So the interlocking mechanism is present in remiges, rectrices, and all quill feathers now. Okay, it is absent in down feathers here. Even in contour feathers also it is not well developed here now. In down feathers, the interlocking mechanism is absent because the barbs are with rudimentary barbules. Barbicels or barbules are rudimentarily present here now. So like that you have contour feathers, phyloplumes, down feathers, and the feathers present at the base of the beak, are called rictal bristles. Present at the base of the beak are called rictal bristles. The Feathers which are present around the nasal chambers here now are called seri, which are olfactory in function here now. The hair-like feathers present around the nasal chambers here now are called seri here now. And the tuft of feathers attached to the first digit of the wing here now. In birds here now, a tuft of feathers is attached to the first digit of the wing. Those feathers which are attached to the first digit of the wing are called elaspuria or elula or false wing or bastard wing. So this elaspuria or elula is a tuft of feathers attached to the first digit of the wings here now, okay, which are called elaspuria or elula or false wing or bastard wing here now. The classification of birds here now, class Aves is divided into two subclasses. Subclass Archaeornithis, subclass Neornithis. Subclass Archaeornithis, subclass Neornithis. Under Archaeornithis you have a single order Archaeopterygiformes. There is a single order under this which is called Archaeopterygiformes. Neornithis, subclass Neornithis is divided into order Paleognathae, order Neognathae, order Impennae, order Odontognathae. Divided into orders, Paleognathae, Neognathae, Impennae and Odontognathae. Now we will talk about the Archaeornithis or Archaeopterygiformes. This Archaeornithis, subclass Archaeornithis is represented by Archaeopteryx lithographia, represented by a genus called Archaeopteryx lithographia. There is another one, Archaeopteryx sinensis. Like that, there are only two species under this here now, Archaeopteryx lithographia, Archaeornis sinensis. Archaeornis sinensis. Archaeornis sinensis and Archaeopteryx lithographia. One, the Archaeopteryx lithographia is preserved in London Museum, whereas Archaeornis sinensis is preserved in Berlin Museum here now. Now this bird, it is the connecting link between reptiles and birds here now. And the fossil was found at Bavaria in West Germany, in Sollenhofen slate. It was noticed in Sollenhofen slate of Bavaria in West Germany. The fossil was discovered by Andries Wagner. The fossil was discovered by Andries Wagner, but he mistook it a lizard, and this existing name Archaeopteryx was given by Hermann von Meyer. The name was given by Hermann von Meyer. So the present name Archaeopteryx was given by Hermann von Meyer, and the fossil was discovered in Sollenhofen slate of Bavarian West Germany by Andries Wagner. But he mistook it lizard and called it Graphosaurus. Now some important characteristics of Archaeopteryx now. In Archaeopteryx, number 1, U-shaped furculi is present. The avian characters of Archaeopteryx, presence of U-shaped porcula, number 1. Number 2, sutured skull is present. Like all other birds, even in Archaeopteryx, skull is sutured here now. Tarso-metatarsus, tibio-tarsus fibula, are present. Like birds, tibio-tarsus fibula and tarso-metatarsus are present here now. Then presence of feathers. Feathers are present. Feathers are present all over the body. And the Andreas Wagner could notice even the rectrices. Rectrices were arranged in 2 rows on either side of the long tail. Rectrices were arranged in 2 rows on either side of the long tail. Then presence of beak is also one of the avian characters of the Archaeopteryx. Presence of U-shaped furcula, then sutured skull, then tarso-metatarsus, then tibio-tarsus fibula, then feathers, presence of rectrices, beak. They are all the avian characters of Archaeopteryx. And reptilian characters of Archaeopteryx are, number 1, non-pneumatic bones. Bones were non-pneumatic here now. Number 2, absence of keel. Absence of keel. Number 3, amphicoelous vertebrae are present. Amphicoelous vertebrae are present. Next one, tarso-metatarsus is present, but carpels and metacarpals are free. Carpels and metacarpals are free without forming carpo-metacarpus. And presence of clawed digits. It is also a reptilian feature here now. Presence of clawed digits. The digits are with claws, unlike the birds, in the finger, in the wing here now, 3 clawed digits are present. 3 clawed digits are present here. So non-pneumatic bones, absence of keel here, then amphicoelous vertebrae, then absence of carpo-metacarpus, then clawed digits. This could be considered as the reptilian characters of Archaeopteryx. So that's where Archaeopteryx is considered as a missing link or a connecting link between aves and reptiles. And the type of evolution that it exhibits is referred to as mosaic evolution. The type of evolution exhibited by Archaeopteryx is referred to as mosaic evolution. Now the characters of Paleognathae and Neognathae will do now, important characters I'll put before you. Paleognathae includes flightless birds. Neognathae includes flight birds. Neognathae includes flight birds. These flightless birds are present mostly in deserts. Mostly in desert, that is, they exhibit discontinuous distribution. The flightless birds exhibit discontinuous distribution, whereas the flight birds are present in all spheres and exhibit cosmopolitan distribution. Cosmopolitan distribution. Flightless birds, flight birds exhibit cosmopolitan distribution and they are found in all spheres. Then next, the Paleognathae, that is flightless birds, preen gland is absent. Preen gland is absent except Tynamus and kiwi. Except Tynamus and kiwi. Preen gland is absent in all flightless birds except Tynamus and kiwi. And here it is present in all birds. In Neognathae, that is flight birds, it is present in all birds. The next you have syrinx is absent in all birds except rhea. Syrinx is absent in all flightless birds except rhea, and here it is present in all birds. Present in all birds. Now the pterili are irregular. Pterili are irregular in flight birds. They are regular or definite in flightless birds. Regular arrangement of pterili you find in flight birds. Then in flightless birds, rectrices are absent or irregularly arranged. The tail feathers, rectrices, are either absent or irregularly arranged. Here they are well developed and they are arranged in semicircular form. Arranged in semicircular form around pygostyle. They are arranged in semicircular form around pygostyle. The next here, interlocking mechanism is absent here. Interlocking mechanism is absent in this. In flight birds, it is present. Interlocking mechanism is present due to the presence of barbs and barbules. Proximal barbules, which are provided with barbicels or hamuli. Distal barbules are provided with flange. Proximal barbules and distal barbules get interlocked to form a meshwork like structure, all over the body to prevent loss of body heat. So interlocking mechanism is missing here, whereas in all flight birds interlocking mechanism is present. So interlocking mechanism is present, interlocking mechanism is absent. Rectrices are absent or irregular, rectrices are present or regularly arranged. The next for the next characteristic feature here now. What is that? Hyporachis is well developed. Hyporachis is well developed. Hyporachis that lies around the superior umbilicus is well developed. I made a mention already. Largest hyporachis is present in Cassiovaris and Emu. And here in flight birds, hyporachis is reduced. Hyporachis is reduced. Then in flightless birds the males are with penis and females are with vagina on clitoris. Females are with penis and females are with vagina, whereas in flightless birds the copulatory organs are absent. Copulatory organs are absent except ducks, swans, geese, etc. Okay, except ducks, geese, swan, etc. In all other flight birds, copulatory organs are absent. The next one, the young ones of flight birds are called, the nestlings of flight birds are called precocial or nidifugous. Precocial or nidifugous, whereas young ones of flight birds are called altricial or nidiculous. Altricial or nidiculous. Then the other characters with regard to the internal modifications, the bones are non-pneumatic. In flightless birds, bones are non-pneumatic, whereas here they are pneumatic. They are pneumatic. And in flightless birds, furcula is absent. Furcula is absent. It is well developed. In all flight birds, furcula is well developed. Pygostyle is reduced or absent. Pygostyle is reduced or absent. It is well developed in case of flight birds. Then in case of flightless birds, sternum is raft-like. Sternum is raft-like without keel. Without keel. Okay. That's why they are also called ratitae. Because of raft-like sternum they are also called ratitae. Here the sternum is with keel. Keel is well developed. Keel is also called carina. That's why the flight birds are also called carinates. The flight birds are also called carinates. The next characteristic feature, paleognathes type of jaw suspension. Old type of jaw suspension is present in flightless birds. That's why we call them paleognathae. The characteristics of old jaw suspension are vomer is large. Vomer is large. The palatines are wide apart. Palatines are wide apart. And quadrate is single-headed. Quadrate is single-headed. So these are all characteristics of old jaw suspension. Vomer bone that lies in the palate region, it is large, lies between two palatines, as a result palatines are pushed wide away from each other, and the quadrate bone is single headed. Then in neonathate, that is in flight birds, new type of jaw suspension is present. The characteristics of new jaw suspension are vomer is small, palatines are fused, quadrate bone is double headed. Vomer is small. As a result, the two palatines are fused and quadrate bone is double headed. They are all characteristics of neonathate. In paleonathate, the flight muscles are reduced. Here. They are well developed in case of flight birds. Air sacs are absent. In flightless birds, but they are well developed in flightless birds. Air sacs are well developed in flightless birds. In flight birds, pubic symphysis is present here now. Pubic symphysis is present, whereas in flightless birds pubic symphysis is absent. The next one, in flightless birds synsacrum is absent, whereas in flight birds it is present here now. Synsacrum is present here now. Where you differentiate between flight birds and flightless birds Then examples for the flightless bird, that is paleonathate. Number 1, Strutiocamelus. It's commonly called two-toed ostrich or African ostrich or camel bird. Two-toed ostrich or African ostrich or camel bird. It is the largest bird among living birds. It is the largest bird, and it is the only bird with urinary bladder. All other birds in urinary bladder is absent. It is the only bird with urinary bladder. And then when it endangers any kind of predator, it buries its head in the sand and it happens to be even the fastest runner. And it is a polygamous bird. It is a polygamous bird. The next, another example you have Rhea americana. This is commonly called American ostrich. It is also called three-toed ostrich. And it is the only flightless bird with sirens. Rhea americana is also polygamous. It is also polygamous bird. The next you have another one, emu. Scientific name is Dromeus. It is found in Australia. And it is the second largest bird Second largest bird. It has longest after shaft. And it is a monogamous bird. Found in Australia, monogamous bird, second largest bird with the longest after shaft. Then you got another example, Cassiovaris. Cassiovaris is found in Australia. It is also found in Australia. This also has long after shaft. after shaft, and this happens to be the third largest bird. Third largest bird happens to be the third largest bird. Tinamous is found in North, South, Central America and Mexico, and is a connecting link between ratite and carinata. Connecting link between ratite and carinata, and it is the flight characters are presence of preen gland, presence of keel, and presence of fleet gland, and presence of flight muscles. Presence of flight muscles. Then all the other characters are of flightless characters. All the other characters are of flightless characters. So tinamous found in North, South, Central America and Mexico. Connecting link between ratite and carinata. The flight characters are preen gland, keel, and flight muscles. The next you have another one, kiwi. Scientific name is Apteryx. This kiwi is confined only to New Zealand. Confined only to New Zealand here now. You can say it is the smallest flightless bird here now. It is the only bird with high sense of olfaction. Only bird with high sense of olfaction, and only bird without pecten. Only bird without pecten. In this, wings are absent. Wings are completely absent in this, and feathers are hair-like. Feathers are hair-like. All feathers are sparsely arranged and they look like hair all over the body here now. Though bird is small in size, it lays relatively large size eggs. Relatively large size eggs, and it happens to be the national bird of New Zealand here now. Kiwi apteryx. It's a nocturnal fossorial bird here now. Nocturnal fossorial bird. So these are some of the most important examples for Paleognathae. The important examples for Neognathae are: number 1, Coraceus bengalensis. This Coraceus bengalensis is commonly called blue jay, and this happens to be the state bird of Telangana. Coraceus bengalensis, blue jay. It is also called Indian roller. And declared as state bird of Telangana here now. The next you have Pavocristatus. This is peacock. Next you have Columba livia. Columba livia is pigeon. The next you have Alcido, kingfisher. Alcido, kingfisher. Next you have Psittacula cremeri. This is commonly called parrot. Psittacula cremeri, commonly called parrot. Some of the important examples for Neognathae. Corvus splendens, you can crow. Passer domesticus, sparrow. Sparrow. So these are the most important examples for Neognathae. Now superorder Odontognathae. The Paleognathae, Neognathae, Odontognathae, Impennae, they are referred to as superorder. Kindly make a change of it, dear students. Okay, subclass Neorgnathes is divided into superorders. So these Odontognathae, Paleognathae, Neognathae, Impennae, they are all superorders. Kindly make a change of that, students. Now Odontognathae, it includes toothed birds. Toothed birds of Cretaceous period. Toothed birds of Cretaceous period, and they became extinct here now. They are all flightless birds. Flightless birds, and some are marine and some are terrestrial here now. The examples are Ichthyornis and Hesperornis. Ichthyornis and Hesperornis. Toothed birds of Cretaceous period, flightless birds, terrestrial and marine. Examples are Ichthyornis and Hesperornis. The next you have another order, another superorder, superorder Impennae. Order Sphenciforms. Order Sphenciforms, it includes penguins, Aptenodytes penguin. These penguins are abundantly present in polar regions here now. Okay, in Arctic region, they are abundantly present here now. They are all gregarious. Okay, they are found in groups here now. Wings are paddle-like, feathers are scale-like. They have got a subcutaneous fat that helps in regulating the body temperature. Both male and female birds incubate the eggs. Both male and female birds incubate the eggs, and they are the deepest divers. They can dive into the sea to catch fish and all that, Okay, legs are very short, and gregarious, flightless birds. Even these Sphenciforms are also flightless birds,